My name is Ray Griffiths. I'm a lecturer at C&M, an author and a nutritionist, and I'm starting to move more towards writing and lecturing as I'm really enjoying just trying to get a lot of the scientific information that's out everywhere, but not really appreciated. So my real love, my real passion, try and download that information and make it more accessible to everyone, and particularly with a nutritional slant as well. I've worked with AMP quite a few times over the last few years, and my main experience of AMP is the enthusiasm within the team. It's really helpful, really supportive to help me get the word out that I'm trying to present through my books and through my writing, through my teaching. The main reason for writing my new book was my fascination with the idea that part of our brain could regrow itself. That really blew me away. That I've been brought up to believe through school and college that our brain didn't regrow itself, but to find out part of our brain regrew itself, but not only was it part of our brain, but it was the part of the brain involved in depression, dementia, and Alzheimer's. So, and memory too. So, if we could do the right things to feed and nourish this part of the brain, then we could help protect ourselves against depression, protect ourselves in our later lives against dementia, Alzheimer's, and protect our memory. And then even further, that this part of the brain, the hippocampus, was shaped like a seahorse. And I like this magical kind of quality of it. I thought I really identified with this, almost the vulnerability of the hippocampus, the seahorse, in a seahorse. And I think humans tend to identify with, I don't know, that humans tend to identify with this special quality that it seems to symbolize. That's what I'm trying to get to. There's a symbolic quality, but it's so important to help our brain to keep itself growing and in a healthy state, particularly with our mental health. And as I started to work more and more to try and understand the hippocampus, as I tried to understand it, I was really fascinated to see how things like diet could interact with the hippocampus, and how things like stress and poor diet and lack of exercise will cause it to shrink. So in depressive episodes, this part of the brain starts to shrink. And so this book is all about what are the things we can do to nourish the hippocampus. And it's not just diet. It's also making sure we've got good social connections. We do things like exercise. We immerse ourselves in things we love doing. If we dance, we listen to music. If we go for country walks, if we are by the coast. And in fact, the more wildlife we surround ourselves with, the more the brain thrives. And I think that just kept blowing me away each time I read it. And I had to get it down into a book. I'll be covering the way that we can support our hippocampus, our inner seahorse. How, first of all, how we can help to nourish the hippocampus. And it's not just nourishing it with just diet per se, it's specifics within our diet can lock into parts of our brain and switch on a healing process in our brain. So how we can do that. The effects of stress, the positive and negative effects of stress. And as I mentioned before, how these environmental and emotional and societal connections can help nourish our brain and feed our brain, and the way they do it. I think that's the important thing. There's a real mind-body split, particularly in the medical community mind, how all these beneficial things through diet and environment can help our brain. They seem to think that it's mainly or all psychological. But when we start to break things down and realize that, in fact, the people we spend our time with affect the way our brain works and can heal our brain or can harm our brain. those are really fascinating subjects, and I want to expand on that.